Welcome to the video. This weekend was the biggest weekend ever for One Piece tournaments this whole summer. There were so many treasure cups, online, offline, all around the world, and I was in 3 online ones this weekend alone. This video, I am going to go over this weekend and the results and the takebacks of the events, what to spend time on now to prepare for nationals, talking about the floor that has risen with the player base, also some fun things, and also separating the 2 parts of the game, competitive One Piece and fun piece. Without further ado, let's get into the goo. This weekend we had Gen Con, which had a lot of events both offline and online, and on top of that there were some European events going on at the same time, also Singapore, etc, etc. And I'm not just going over the news really of that, I want to go over my experience. And traditionally with that, there were 3 online tournaments hosted by PlayTCG, and I was a little disappointed in some things, mostly my play, but there was kind of some bad things that happened with Discord. I know online it's not perfect for any measure of stakes, but there's something that I think needs to be addressed going forward as far as judges being aware. In the second game that I played on Friday, I disconnected. I have a whole Twitch clip live stream about this whole situation. And essentially, it's like your Discord disconnects, it disconnects your phone and your computer, and there's really nothing you can do about it, and you have to just try to log back in as fast as possible, and you have to actually put in the username and password. It ends up being a really pain in the butt, and most of the time when this happens, people struggle to get logged back in because they don't remember their username and passwords for their Discord, and they get essentially a round loss. And it was at the beginning of a game where nothing's really happened yet, so I didn't really have an advantage or a disadvantage in any way. But essentially I came back and I was just told I had the round loss. I did have this happen in core at one point where my opponent waited actually for quite a long time. It came back, and then essentially since this happened to at least half of the server, maybe more like a quarter this time, that they allowed the game to just continue on. Now, I can see a game restarting if case, people picked up their cards and whatnot, but I was able to prove that I didn't touch my cards since I just had a video recording of the whole thing. So, I really think there should be something with planning with that. Definitely record your games if this happens to you. I tried using a VPN one day and nothing happened to me, but using a VPN kind of sucks while also trying to live stream and just play with people online, so it can be kind of finicky. I just want to make it aware that the judges and head judges are aware that this will happen, and they should have a better measure than just saying sorry. I think it's up to the TOs to educate the players that this is likely to happen in the first few rounds, and if this does happen, just to sit and wait for a few minutes and call the judge. I think that's just fine, but this is sort of a thing that will happen almost every online tournament going forward, something that we don't have control of because it's just Discord, and I don't really think anyone should get a round loss. If this was somehow inverted and my opponent lost because of this, I would not feel right about it. I would feel terrible. I would want the right thing to be done, because the reason is we want to come and play the game and have fun, and if we're just kind of playing this game of win-losses and not really trying to have fun with the game, then what's really the point? Just for, I guess, dollars? But for those that want to play the game to have fun, it kind of ruins the fun when you just can't play the game. The other kind of unfun thing I'm finding about online events is that there is a large group of people, and there's a large group of people that come in and they plan to go X and 3 and drop to get participation pricing. And everyone's valid for doing that, but I find that it's super unfun because there are a group of people that want to get in and actually play in the tournament the day of, and they're not able to. They try to get in the day of, they can't play, and now they just kind of blame the system, while there's at least, I want to say, a fifth of the player base. Maybe that's too big. A sixth of the player base, a decent amount, at least 10%. 10% of the player base is just coming in to online tournaments, immediately trying to X3 drop, or if they lose the first 1 or 2 games, they will go to the third game and drop. And it seems to be a common thing. And it's even worse than that, because the absolute worst thing that can happen, and this happens in both online and offline tournaments, is somebody doesn't drop and they just remain on the roster. And that's terrible, because when you go to a game, and this usually happens after you lose 1 or even 2 games, you go to a game and essentially your opponent isn't there. There's no one to play with, and you're just kind of sitting there like, why am I playing this game? I wanted to play the game. I don't mind losing. I just want to play the game. And it creates this set of atmosphere that people just don't care. And I don't like that. I think if you just want to not play, just drop from the tournament like a normal person. But I do want to blame the people out there. If you forget to drop, shame on you. Just drop. Please, just try to remember, be a responsible card player and drop from the tournament if you're supposed to drop. It just makes it really annoying, and dealing with that both offline and online is a really lame experience. Also, I did really poor this last weekend, to be honest. I played Black Yellow Luffy. I didn't have an insane amount of experience with Black Yellow Luffy. I didn't have enough experience with Black Yellow Luffy in the meta, and I made way too many mistakes. And then the second day, I made less mistakes, but I had terrible matchups, and I just was not having fun with the deck. I did play Reiju day 3. I made too many mistakes as well, and so that's just kind of what happened. I had fun with my friends at locals, but generally it was kind of a frustrating weekend for me. But the main thing is I want to look at going forward is just getting better. A lot of my content is about just getting better, but generally I do bring somebody in who is a good player to kind of tell us what to do on what specific deck, and I try to present that the best way I can. But sometimes within all this work, I do fail to put that into practice enough in order for me to come out with the win. So I guess my next goal is preparing from now, and I'm going to be in LA at this weekend, and on top of that, Nationals coming up for when I inevitably win that. I wanted to talk about the general floor of the game, and right now, when it comes to the game, the floor has really risen with the lower player base. And what I mean by that is not a lot of people are really terrible at this game, and we're in a sort of meta right now where if you make one small mistake early in the game, it'll lose you the game later in the game. And it's a really unfortunate thing that the game is built like this right now, but a lot of people just aren't making a lot of mistakes. And it's not exactly a bad thing. People have just put a lot of time in getting good at the game, which is a good thing. But I wanted to bring it up as a case. You can't really slack anymore. You can't make a single mistake. If you want to do good, you got to play good. Some fun things going on right now is I am trying to lose weight. I've been on a diet the past 2 weeks with exercise. And how this kind of came to be is in my friends Discord, they all made a little competition. Hey guys, whoever loses the most weight until October 25th will receive a prize pool of money. All of our friends kicked in $100, and I am the lightest one at 235 pounds. I am now down to 227 pounds. I understand some of that was water weight, but my goal is 1 pound a week, and I just want to update you guys in my videos in a little small section with the fun things that I'm kind of up to right now. And that's the main thing, is I'm just trying to lose weight. Finally, I wanted to talk about the 2 separate games of One Piece, and that's competitive One Piece and fun Piece. People understand that essentially, in order to kind of love the game, you have to have fun with the game. If you can play the highly competitive meta right now and find fun with it, let me know how that's going and how you can do that, because right now it's kind of difficult. In the very high-end competitive scene, essentially every deck is set to be, you can't play the game. I'm not allowing you to play the game. I'm going to remove this on your board. I'm going to become too tall for you. I'm going to never attack you, etc., etc., in some way. And it's really, really difficult right now. And I find that a lot of people express their fun in the game right now by going to locals and trying to either beat these competitive players or just try to have fun and face other fun players. So I really wanted to separate two things in the game and really try to find the fun in One Piece. If you can find the fun in One Piece, especially with maybe off-meta decks or decks that are still really good, but maybe not like the cream of the crop Lucci's out there high-rolling every game, then absolutely do that. That's one thing I try to really embroider into a lot of people, that you have to find the fun in the game. And if you play against a player that is generally having fun most of the time in One Piece, they have a more incentive to get better and also just play more games, and generally is a little more difficult to play against. So try to find the fun in One Piece right now and maybe separate competitive One Piece and fun piece in your own time. And that's basically all I had for the video. Some things upcoming. I am going to have another article in the next day or two, a free article on my Patreon about a bunch of deck lists that people were using for this last weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Also, a Gecko Maria guide with Steak Frank. Congrats to him for being top 8 last weekend with Gecko, and a quick shout out to all my patrons for being a Patreon on my channel, and I really can't make these videos without you guys. That's all for now. If you like the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.